Hello, I am magazine viewers, and welcome to this new episode of Ask the Expert. Today, my guest is Extus Justin. Extus is a former sergeant of the U.S. Marine Corps. He's native from St Lucia in the Caribbean, and he now lives in the United States. Extus shows coaches, consultants, service providers how to get consistent high-ticket clients and grow their businesses to $30,000 a month thanks to funnels. This episode is a must watch if you're a business owner and you're looking to grow your business thanks to funnels. Make sure to watch in few seconds. See you soon. Welcome to the show. Today my guest is Extus Justin. Hey Extus, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much, Alex. Really appreciate you having me on here.
We are so glad to have you today. Today I would like to talk with you about business, about mindset, about how to attract clients consistently, how to make 7 figures in a year. Wow, it's going to be a great interview. And I would like to start with a first question that I'm sure will be interesting for our viewers. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are, about your story? I know you're from the Caribbean. How did you come from the Caribbean to the US and became an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So as you know, what I do right now is I help coaches, consultants, and service providers get consistent high-ticket clients in their businesses. But before I started doing what I'm doing right now, I lived on an island in the Caribbean called St Lucia. And when I turned 18, I moved to the US, and I spent, so what is it, about maybe a year in the US. And I did 1 semester in college, and I was like, okay, I'm working this part-time job trying to go to college at the same time. And because I didn't have very much money, I did 1 semester, and then I ran out of money to pay for college. So I said, like, okay, I got to do something different. And that's kind of how my journey started, to me actually getting in the US Marines. I decided to join the US Marines, and I spent 8 years in there. And while I was in there, I stayed in Japan. And while I was in Japan, I hurt my knee while doing an exercise. I hurt my knee, and that's when I realized, okay, the Marines, I won't be able to spend the 20 years that I was planning to be in there. I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. And that's when I decided to, that's when I kind of stumbled upon consulting and coaching others where I can actually get paid for advice, because for myself, I don't have any type of degree, no certifications or anything to my name. And I saw coaching consultant. I saw how the guys like Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyers, the Zig Ziglars, and all these great guys, I saw how they were using it to kind of inspire, motivate, and help others. And they were also using the internet to do that as well too. And I was like, I have to figure out how to do this. So that's what made me leave the U.S. Marines and move over to California to start my business, and that's really why I started off. So I left the U.S. Marines, moved to California with like $30,000 in my savings account, and moved down there, and that's why my journey started to start my consulting business.
Wow. But was it obvious for you that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? I mean, were you introduced to any type of self-development or entrepreneurship while you were in the US Marines?
hmm So I guess because I've never really I guess growing up in the Caribbean, like there weren't any, like I didn't like personal development tapes and read any type of personal development books, anything like that. But when I was in the U.S. Marines, I remember one specific instance when I was in Okinawa, Japan, and it was my boss's, one of my boss at the time. I got into his car one day, and he was listening to some guy speaking. I think I was about maybe 20 years old. But when I got in his car, he was like listening to this guy speaking um, on the radio, the radio, and it wasn't like news or anything like that. It was like speaking, and I was like, "What is happening? Like, what is this? I've never heard anything like this before. What is this guy listening to?" And it was like really weird because I didn't understand at the time, but I remember getting out of his car and just like going to my friends and making fun of him. Like, this guy's like, instead of listening to music or listen to like maybe the news or something, he's like listening to guys speak about being positive and stuff like that. And I kind of like, we kind of laughed about it with my friends and stuff because I really didn't understand at the time. But he was someone I noticed got promoted a lot faster than everyone else in the Marines. He just got promoted so fast, and I was like, "What's going on? There has to be something there." And that's when I asked him, like, what do you listen to? Like, what is this stuff? And I think at the time, the tape he was listening to was called, it was something about by Brian Tracy. Have you heard of Brian Tracy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a Brian Tracy tape called Eat That Frog. And he told
Okay.
me that's what he was listening to. And I remember going to his house a few times and he would just constantly have this stuff playing. And it started to kind of make sense for me, but not really. But he gave me an audiobook to like put on my iPod at the time. And I put on my iPod. And I remember there was one time when I came to the US and just doing a lot of driving around. I had my iPod and I had a whole bunch of music in there, but I listened to all of the music. And that was the only thing I hadn't listened to before, that tape, that Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, he put on there. And then that's when I listened to it. And then after several hours, I just found it started consuming. I'm like, whoa, this is some cool stuff. But that was in essence my first taste of what personal development and what personal growth was, to realize that the place where I am, the person who I am, and the results that I have, it can be better. I can change. I can be different. Yeah, does this make sense?
Yeah, totally, totally. And
Yeah.
so you left the US Marines, of
Hmm.
course, because you were injured and you decided to move to California. And so how did you start your first business? What was it? And what were the first challenges that you had?
Hmm. So in terms of my first business, I think I tried several different ideas because I just wasn't really sure. I knew it was
Mhm.
consult. I knew I wasn't, because I was kind of on my knees were injured and stuff like that. I knew that I wasn't going to be doing construction or anything like that type of work, any type of physical thing. It had to be some type of advice type thing. So I tried different things. I remember trying to think of getting into real estate. That's when I got into reading Robert Kiyosaki's books and all these different things. And I started looking into that. Then I started looking into e-commerce. Then I started looking into all of these different things. I haven't considered network marketing for a few times. I didn't really do it, but I kind of considered it because I thought that would be a way for me to generate some type of income. But a lot of the stuff I tried didn't really work. I think when I showed up to California, I had $30,000 in my personal savings, and within 3 months, I had spent like 22,000 of the $30,000, and I only had like $8,000 left. And that's when I started realizing, like, man, like I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here, because a lot of the stuff I've been trying, it's not working. I'm running out of money really, really fast, and I gotta figure something out. So I stumbled upon several different ideas, but nothing really related to me. And at that point, because I only had $8,000 left in my account, and I'm in California, no family, no friends around, and I'm trying to build my business, trying to say, okay, let me make this work. Let me figure out how to make money, especially online and stuff. And to make, because I realize how fast money goes, so to kind of buy more time, because as entrepreneurs, we only, if we don't, the only way we get more time is by getting money. Like, we don't have money, then we can't really move forward. We're stuck. Either we quit, we go get a job, or we do something. So to get more money to keep going, what I did was I had a retirement savings. So I had it's about $70,000 in retirement savings in there. And if you know anything about retirement savings, it's one of those things where when you get into it, you're not supposed to take the money out until you're a certain age. I think for me it was either like 69 and a half years old or something. Like, if you do take it out, you'll be taxed. And because I took it off early, they took off like $15,000 right there. So from 70,000, they took off $15,000 in taxes, and I only saw like, what is it, like $55,000 of the income. But for me, I thought, okay, I was kind of mad, because I'm like, man, that's a lot. But I was like, okay, I gotta make this work. I got this business idea, this dream. I'm gonna make millions of dollars, and I'm gonna just make it work with that. And it came to the same thing again. I was out there buying courses, learning from mentors, trying to figure out what model and shiny objects and all of these different things. And nothing kind of came together. And again, I found myself with the $70,000 or the 55,000. I kind of burned through a lot of that as well too. And it got to a point where I was literally living on a credit card, because after trying and trying and trying, and things aren't just working, and jumping from idea to idea to idea, nothing really worked. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. Um, but really what changed for me, because I remember being in California, and it got to the point where when it was all said and done, I probably had burnt like $130,000 in terms of just trying to make a business work, just trying everything to make it work, and nothing really wasn't coming together. And it really got to the point where I remember being in my apartment in California, that one bedroom apartment, having an air mattress and living out of my suitcases, because it got to the point where I tried and tried so much that I just didn't think I'll ever make it. So I was more coming from the frame of mind, like, I don't even know if this is going to work. And I got down to like having like $1,592 left in my bank account while being in California, away from family, away from friends. And that's when like fear started coming up for me, because I'm like, what do I do here? Like, I can't do this anymore. It's not working. Like, literally in California, it's pretty competitive down there. To get a job, you most likely have to apply and then wait several months to get it. And I'm looking at my accounts. I'm like, even if I did try to get a job right now, there's no way I would survive. I don't have any money down there. So what I did was I spent out of the $1,500 I had left, I used 1,000 to pay my last month's rent, and I used the 500 to buy a plane ticket back home, because it just didn't work. So that's where that was when I kind of hit like rock bottom in a sense. And in essence, I guess is that you follow? Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. And so you had only a few money left, just
Hmm.
not so much. You decided to return to your home country,
Not home
right?
country. It was still in Indiana. It was in the U.S. With a friend.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then, okay. And then from there,
Mhm.
is it when you started the new business?
Yeah, because when it took me a couple of years, because most of what I was doing is just a whole bunch of random stuff. Like, most of what I did, again, I wasn't getting good results, but I was making some progress. There was some things I did right, because I believe as a coach, as a consultant, one of the biggest things is you got to have a niche, right? You got to know who you're serving. And that's kind of when I saw like consulting. That's when I really saw the idea of consulting, because trying all these different models, the real estate, all these different things, I realized there was so many different factors to make it work. But when I kind of stumbled upon the consultant coaching type model, that's when I realized that that's something I could control. Because now what that let me see is that instead of trying to build this complex thing, all I need to do is find people to talk to and to offer a type of service to. So that's when I got into, I think we were talking before the call, which is a done for you service. So I literally, because I kind of understood some online marketing and just how marketing worked in general, because I've always been a student of marketing. I kind of had what do you call it, ideas about it. And that's when I started reaching out to local businesses. So my story started off with me when I really first got my taste of success and getting clients would be me going out to these local businesses and offering to do their marketing for them. So I remember my first clients, a barber shop and an auto repair shop. Those are two first initial clients I got, and they didn't pay me very much, but that's what kind of let me see that if I could just do this and get more of those types of clients, I would be able to turn the situation around.
Hmm.
So ultimately, yeah, when I was at my friends, because again, I was at the point where I didn't have any money. And I knew that at that point, I could either go out and get a job and try to make, but I knew if I went out to get a job, I knew that this business, this entrepreneurship, it would be over, simply because it was just so much pain and just so much heartache of like trying and trying and trying and getting into so much debt that there's no way I would come back to this. And that's why, as I was saying with my friend, I just said, okay, I'll just give this one more shot. I don't have to pay any bills for a little while. I'm just trying one last time. And that's what really kind of got me my first taste of success in a sense. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so finally you learned from mistakes, from experience, and this is when you started to have successes in your business. And so
Hmm.
now today you are a successful coach. And can you tell me what's the difference between your mindset when you didn't have much results and your mindset now?
Hmm. So there's a couple of different things, right? So mine, because I've always been, I guess you could call it like a student, mean that I'm always learning. Like, I'm always learning, reading, listen to audio tapes and all these different things. I'm trying to get better, better, better. And I did that for for a lot, just like when before I actually got out of the US Marines, I was spending a lot of time in personal development, personal growth, all of these different things, trying to really learn as much as I could. And that got me stuck. And what I mean by stuck is that when I did try to start my business, it got to the point where I felt like, I got to a point of thinking that I just knew it all, right? So I just came from a place of, no, I know all of it. I know how it all works. So what that meant is that I wouldn't be open to outside input. I would just be saying, okay, this is just what it is and this is how it works. Even if people around me are saying that, hey, no, that's not how, you should try this, you should try that. I was like so close-minded just because I felt like I read all the books, I went through the process and stuff like that. And that's a big a shift for me as well. So now I'm a lot more open because I realized that most of the ideas, most of the things I thought would work, it didn't work. And when I tried the ideas other people were sharing with me, my team, the people I was surrounded with, that's what really kind of started working. So that was the first shift in terms of mindset wise. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So learning, actually, this is what we say. Leaders
Hmm.
learn constantly,
Hmm.
right? And so, about learning, what are the books that do you read books like any other entrepreneurs, like every once a week? I heard that leaders read 52 books a year.
Hmm. Yeah. Now I used to write. So when I first got started, I used to read a lot of books and listen to a lot of these audio books as well too. So I did a lot of them. I think over when I was first getting started within my first couple of years, I probably read more than 500 books and stuff like that.
Wow.
But it got to the point where I started realizing that with reading, it's one of those things where when you just get started, it's awesome because it gives you a lot of ideas. It helps you believe. It gives you some things to look forward to and stuff. But once you actually get to the what needs to be done now there has to be a shift, which is you have to kind of figure out what you need to do and just stay focused on building in a sense. So for me, I don't spend as much time reading. Really what I do is I spend as much time figuring out, okay, what do I need to do? And once I figure out what I need to do, then saying, okay, how do I need to, what information, what knowledge do I need to get that result? So for example, I might say, okay, I want to build, I guess an example is maybe when I wanted to do my first online coaching program, I, did- I couldn't learn that from a book. What I did was I bought another actual program on how to do that. And that was kind of like my way of learning. So in essence, I don't really, it's not just about reading the books. It's more based on all of the different variations of how we could get information to help us do what we need to do, whether it's through maybe a podcast, whether it's through buying an online coaching program, whether it's actually hiring a mentor. I think it starts off with first having that vision, that goal of what you want, and then whatever you need to do, whether it's reading a book or whatever that's going to help you get that vision, that's where it starts. But to say that I just sit down just to read, to be honest with you, I really don't. I'm always taking in information based on a specific thing that I want to achieve.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so today you run a business, a coaching business. And what is the particularity of that coaching business?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in terms of the business we run, because when I started having success, because for myself, as you know, everyone kind of hangs out in little tribes, right? So we all have close friends, people we network with. And when I was running my business, a lot of my close friends saw how much I was struggling in the beginning. But then when things started taking turning around for me, then they were like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? Like, what changed? Like, what are you doing different?" And I had a couple. I remember one friend. He kind of reached out. He's like, "Hey, man, like, what did you do? How did you turn this around? Because I'm kind of struggling myself." And that's kind of when I was like, "Okay, I'm doing this business. I'm coaching, consulting others. Well, more consulting others." And then he's coming to me saying he needs my help, and I'm like, "I'm busy running my business. Like, I got to focus." But because he was my friend, I kind of just showed him a few of what I was doing, of how my whole process worked. And next thing you know, he was taking some of the same thing I was sharing with him, and he was getting kind of like similar results. And I was like, "That's pretty cool." And then he would see other people would be seeing him doing stuff, and he would just keep referring them to me. And I'm like, "Man, like I don't have really time for this. I got to run my business." But everyone keeps wanting advice from me, and that's when I realized it would have been easier for myself, at least. What I did was I said, "Okay, let me just package this stuff up," because most of the times when I wanted to connect with them and they wanted to meet, I didn't really have the time. So I would just say, I'll just record videos for you, just to kind of show you a few of the things. And then based on the videos, next thing you know, um, you could probably sell this thing. And that's the first kind of experience I had with like, yeah, I guess so. And that's when I kind of say, oh, maybe I could like just consult others and just teach this stuff here because it's working for everyone else. So I think with my done for you agency at the time, I grew it to like $80,000 per month. But then I decided to like make the shift because with the done for you, you have to manage a team, do work and all these different things. And I was just, I would much rather be an actual coaching model to where I could coach someone and not really have to like trade time for money. It was more based on, hey, let's take something you've already figured out and let's figure out how we get someone else to kind of use that knowledge to succeed themselves. And
Uh-huh.
that's kind of how my model kind of evolved. So right now we focus on helping individuals through group coaching programs. We teach our clients once they've gotten their start in coaching consulting and they've maybe got one or two paying clients, and they will be like, okay, how do I get consistent clients? And number two, how do I build more of a program to, instead of me just helping one to two to three people, I could help people in terms of 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, hundreds, and just keep growing that way.
Oh, yeah, so you scale the
Yes.
business in this way.
Hmm.
Wow. Um, so basically, the people were coming to you to help them attract more clients. And so question is, how do you attract more clients with consistency?
Hmm. Yeah, so in terms that's a really big one because since I've been doing this since like 2013, and my first couple of years, I realized how painful it was for me to solve that problem. And when I solved it, it was like one of the things I really cherished because I'm like, man, I'm never gonna be broke again. I'm never gonna be in that situation again because I figured out how to get clients. And then I kind of, when I look at my friends and just seeing everyone in the coaching consulting community, they were all like going through the same process. And that's when I started seeing, okay, what are they doing? Because I know what I did, and I'm like, okay, what are they doing that's really not working? So I kind of saw everything they were doing, and I kind of compared it to my model, and I realized the biggest thing in terms of how the difference between what they were doing and what other people are doing that's really not working on what we do and how we help our clients is that we've realized that with our clients, they're all good at something, right? So they all have some type of advice, some type of knowledge, some way they could help. They have something that other people either keep coming to them for. So what we do, because we realize in terms of converting someone, especially online, because most of our clients as businesses, they just get clients online. They don't go knocking on doors or doing cold calls. It's just through the internet. So what we do, I kind of put together something I call sick funnels. And what sick funnels are is basically once we figure out what you're good at or how you could help, we then build the system. It has like 5 pieces. But we build a system and it's able to take individuals from being strangers who like they're on the internet, and once they come through your process, they're able to become paying clients within 48 hours or less just by going through the system. Because I realize with most coaches, consultants, when they spend time online, they're just having either a lot of random conversations or a lot of meeting a lot of people, but most of the times the conversations never lead to anywhere. They never lead to having a quality conversation about would they want to become a client. It's always just this kind of fluff or some stuff. And I realized for myself, I needed to be able to take someone from a stranger to a paying client with me in the quickest possible fashion. And that's how the whole sick funnels all came about.
Wow, in 48 hours then. Okay, that's very interesting. So how do people get to work with you?
Hmm. Yeah. So in terms of working, because I truly believe I come from a frame of mind that before I will ever ask someone for money, I want to add more value to their lives first. So I know most coaches, consultants, service providers out there who help others. What they do is they say they come from the frame of mind of, hey, before I'll ever help you, you got to pay me first. And I've kind of experienced some of that because I know in my journey, especially when I was just getting started, really struggling, and I saw how when you don't have the money, people don't give you the time of day. They're just like, well, you don't have the money? I'm sorry, come back when you do. And no one as an entrepreneur, as a coach, when you literally don't have the resources and you're really trying to your best to make things happen, I kind of experienced that, and I decided, well, as I built my business, I'm never gonna do that to someone else. So if someone wanted to work with me, what I do is I have some awesome free trainings that I give away. I have a private Facebook group called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle. And for anyone who joins that training, one of the things or anyone who joins that group, one of the things I do is I give away one of our best-selling programs. It's a $997 value for free. Just showing them a few of the things I've learned in terms of getting clients. So that's one way so they can get that training for free, and it's awesome. And then I also do live webinars as well too. So every couple of days, I actually host a live training where someone could come in, they could register, and they could show up and work with me kind of like in a live setting and get some value from me, see how our whole entire process works, and then they could decide whether it makes sense for us to do anything together. But in the beginning, there's no money attached to what I do. It's coming from a place of service. I give out more than I expect to get back in return. And typically it's been working out really, really well for us because we get a lot of people applying to work with us.
Yeah. And so how do you organize? Because then you're serving a lot of clients. So do you have a big team, or is everything online, packaged in online courses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the way it works with us, since all our stuff is online, we have group calls. So we have twice a week, we have our group coaching calls every Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central and Fridays at like 10 a.m. Central time. And then our clients, they come in, and then it's with myself or one of my team members, we show up on the call and we just basically coach them. And the second part is we have online coaching programs as well too. Because what I found is that when I first started off, it was just me doing the one-to-ones. But when you get to realizing that the leverage with programs where you could, your clients, they just want a result, meaning that one of the things we teach is we tell our clients, hey, for this to work, like you have to target one community, which is figure out which tribe, who are you going to help, who are they? Then once you figure out the one community, then the one problem that you're going to help them solve. Because I know if you could do this, if someone could do this, then when it comes to building an online program to where the program's job is just to take that person from point A to point B in a very consistent, streamlined manner. And that's what our programs are. So with us, when I first got started, literally clients would depend on me to get them results. And it's good, it's a good feeling. But after a while, it gets pretty stressful because you're just like, oh, the same thing over and over and over. Versus when you build an online program, now you could have the clients more see the program as a solution. And now I could get away from having to try to sell myself and that type of stuff. I'm more based on, hey, here's the solution we've kind of put together for you to help you get the results.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the questions I also had in mind, you were talking about funnels, and I know a lot of people probably resist to build them. Is
Mm-hmm.
there any do you explain people how to build funnels actually? Do you tell them how to, or do you build those? Because you say you used to do done for you, but some people do resist funnels. Is there an easy way to build funnels?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's two aspects with my team, because we do the done for you as well. So we do have a section of our business where, because we have some clients who come in, they're just like, I'm not going to build this thing, and we could tell because it's just not them. They can't. They're just not wired to do it. And those individuals, they come in, and we could actually build the funnels for them. But there's some others who come in, they're just like, I want to know how this whole entire thing works because I want to be able to replicate and keep doing it. If it breaks or whatever, I want to be able to fix it myself. And for those individuals, we show them exactly how to do it as well too. We have all of our trainings, because that's the biggest thing I found, the biggest issue I found online. When most coaches, most consultants, when I was trying to do things online, most of the stuff I had to try to figure out to how the things work, it was just trying to piece things together. Like I didn't feel like anyone had a complete system, a step-by-step system that I could just follow to get me from point A to point B. It always like I would buy this thing and then it would get me halfway, and then I would have to go figure something else out and try to piece the things together. So for all of our programs, we've kind of structured them all in a sense of when someone comes in, it could take them, if they want to do it themselves, as long as they know how to watch a few videos and follow directions, there's no reason why they can't get something that's it's not really complex, it's really simple. But I know for someone who hasn't done it before, it could seem complex. But for us, we've kind of broken that down to a step-by-step process that once they follow, just put one foot for the other. At the end of a week, 2 weeks, they have the entire thing all built out.
Wow. And another question, well, that would be one of my last questions. What are the challenges when we reach that level? You know, you're now making a lot of money and seven figures revenue every year consistently. What what are the challenges at your level as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I think the challenges is continuing to grow. Something I love to say is that I heard it. I heard someone say it. I can't remember specifically who, but it said the road that got you out of Egypt isn't the road that's going to lead you to the promised land. And what that means is that as you grow, you're going to hit certain places in your business or certain levels. You get to every level. What got you there is never going to be what's going to get you to the next level. So it's like, I guess the biggest one is just realizing that there's a constant evolution that needs to happen. Doesn't matter how successful you are, you always have to keep reinventing yourself, keep finding different habits, keep finding better people, and keep improving. If you don't do that, then you won't make it. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing, and I know that that's a big challenge for most coaches, consultants, especially individuals who are just getting started. And that's one of the core things we teach, because I believe that people don't have business problems; they have personal problems, and then those reflect in their businesses. And what that means to me is that, hey, whenever you have any issue, whenever you get to a place in your life, in your business, where you just feel stuck or you feel like you've plateaued, it's not the business, it's you. You have to let something go, become different. There's something you're not facing yet. If you really want to get to the next level, there's something you have to go face. And it's pretty scary, but the one thing that's going to get you to the next level is you got to go face it head on, versus trying to pretend that it's not there, or trying to look for the shortcut or the secret, in a sense.
Right, right. So true. Every new level will demand a new version of you.
Hmm.
So yeah, growing is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, so last thing is, do you have any advice for our viewers? Because our viewers are mainly entrepreneurs
Mhm.
or aspiring entrepreneurs or even successful entrepreneurs. So what would be the advice that you can give them in this
Yeah.
meantime?
So my advice, and I was actually talking to one of my clients this morning about this advice, because my philosophy, right? So just like with COVID-19 happening right now, what I've realized is that with online, like everyone is online, meaning that the space now has become even, the playing field is even. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, you're not just having to compete for business in your local town or your city or your area. It's like you're on a global scale. If you offer a similar service to what I do, like we're now competitors in a sense, like it's even. And I realized what that showed me is that a lot of people won't make it. There's going to be a lot of coaches, consultants who have these great dreams, great ideas, great passions, but they just won't make it. And one of the things I found is that because with online, when things start moving online, for from most people, some perspective, it's they think that there's a secret online, which is they think that there's some type of shortcut or secret, or button they could just push and the thing will just work. Versus what I realized, that the only guys, the only women who succeed are the ones who realize that they have to have a mindset of whatever it takes, right? So they have to have that mindset, that resilient mindset. It's kind of like it goes against the grain, meaning that most people who show up and even most clients who show up into our program, they show up looking for the quick fixes on these different things. And don't get me wrong, we have some awesome techniques in there to kind of help them get results. I believe in the fastest in the industry, in the consulting industry, we get them some results pretty fast. But the thing we really help them with is the mindset side of it. What I'm trying to build with our company and our business and our clients, the culture I'm trying to build is that of resilience. Like we're the guys, we're the women who are gonna, like we come from a place of whatever it takes, like no excuses, no complaining. Once we set a goal, it just happens. There's no reason why it doesn't, because I truly believe that with success is about who you surround yourself with. So my philosophy is that if anyone is watching this and they're pretty serious, they want to be around a team, a community, a group of people who are just the whatever it takes and no excuses, and you just want to make things happen, then I would say you should definitely come check us out. We have some awesome free resources, whether it's a Facebook group, the Facebook group, and there's the LinkedIn group, High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle. Just come hang out with us, because I know that if you do, some of that stuff will rub off on you, and you will, the results that you want, whether it's getting more consistent clients, making more money, whatever, it'll just be a byproduct, simply because you're surrounded by not losers, but you're surrounded by greatness. So yeah, that's really what I got.
Yeah, surround yourself with greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Extus. It was so much a pleasure to have you here in the show today. I hope I hope to see you again in this show. Actually, I hope to interview you again in few years.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it. I am magazine viewers. I hope you enjoyed this interview. Make sure to let me know in the comments what you thought. If you have more questions for Extus, make sure to ask them also, and to make sure to click on the links also to join the insider circle of his coaching, of his group coaching on Facebook. Extus, thank you so much. I wish you many, many more successes in your business, and yeah, see you later.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And everyone watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to be here with us. And yes, hopefully our paths cross soon.